40 kilometers off the northern coast of Iceland, lies a solitary emerald shard in the Greenland Sea. This is Grímsey, a windswept rock. Just 5 square kilometers in size, it is Iceland's only territory crossed by the Arctic Circle. And it is right here where you will find the most spectacular bird paradise on Earth. I spent 4 unforgettable days here with Lasse, who you might remember from last year's Norway expedition, which I have linked in the description below. Join us now on a truly remarkable wildlife adventure. Every adventure has a beginning. In our case, it starts with a 3.5-hour ferry crossing from Dalvík on the Icelandic mainland. The ferry can transport cars for the island's 3-kilometer-long road. But this small vessel only runs 4 times a week and has space for a maximum of just 4 vehicles. It is an adventure in itself. We were incredibly lucky with our crossing. By Icelandic standards, there was barely any wind. Instead, the clouds were truly breathtaking. Hanging low over the water, they gave the sky a beautiful, dramatic structure. And there it is in sight. The tiny island of Grímsey begins to emerge on the horizon. Small but beautiful, and home to up to 1 million nesting birds. The harbour is finally in sight. Since we travelled without a car, we have to carry all our luggage and camera gear to our accommodation, the house at the Arctic Circle, a walk of about 1.5 kilometres. Even the walk to our accommodation was full of surprises. Snow buntings, a species I had been trying to photograph back home at Lake Steinhudamer during winter, were jumping around right at our feet. And then we saw them, thousands of beautiful puffins lining the nearby coast. It was truly breathtaking. We spent the afternoon enjoying the island and getting a first taste of what lay ahead. A coast framed by dramatic basalt cliffs, with lush green meadows in front of them, home to numerous waders and Arctic terns trying to drive us away. They launched aerial attacks straight at our heads. I got hit twice. And you won't believe it, they targeted us with precise bird droppings. Lasse and I had to wash our hair twice because of it. Unbelievable, isn't it? Here are a few clips of the attacks and some first beautiful shots of the land birds. And here is a beautiful Arctic tern couple. And here is a shot with one of their young. Several red-necked Phalaropes walking through the vibrant green grass near the path, searching for insects. But what makes them truly astonishing is their reversed family life. In their world, The females are the larger and more highly colorful ones. They fight for the males and defend their territory. Right here on the shoreline, you can spot the snow bunting. And out on the water, a flock of eider ducks floats peacefully. Down at the few accessible bays, the ones you can actually reach without having to jump off a massive cliff, and honestly, who would want that? A completely different world unfolds. Just a few steps further, on the sheer cliff faces right next to the bay, we encounter the busy nurseries of the black-legged kittiwakes. Right beside them on the cliffs, Atlantic puffins and razorbills guard the high ledges. Dive into their world. An incredible sight unfolds here. Thousands of puffins dot the steep green slopes, and on the water below, Guillemots swim in groups. At the very top edge of these cliffs, a thick layer of rich, organic soil provides the perfect foundation. This is where the puffins dig their deep nesting burrows, safely sheltered from the elements. The black-legged kittiwakes and razorbills, on the other hand, prefer it much steeper and rockier. They find their homes on the sheer stone walls, balancing on the narrowest ledges of the bare cliff face, not to mention the countless guillemots. At the few reachable shores, the power of the ocean becomes alive. Waves crash relentlessly over the worn stones and the tangled piles of washed-up seagrass. And there, perched quietly above the wild coast, is our home, the White House, standing directly next to the island's small church. The second day brings only a light breeze and a bit of rain. For the first time, we head north, but first, it is simply impossible to pass by the puffins. Even in the rain, they line the path, waiting out the damp morning in their hundreds. There are just so many of them. I will leave you now to simply enjoy the view. Suddenly, the quiet island gets a little more crowded. A small airplane arrives, bringing guests for just a few hours. Heading north of the main village, home to a close-knit community of just around 60 people, the landscape shifts. Here, the coastline becomes a beautiful puzzle of rugged basalt columns and calm, sheltered bays. Looking back at the footage now, I am amazed by how much it was actually raining. On the island, surrounded by this mind-blowing landscape, my mind completely blocked it out. I didn't notice a single drop. A close-up shot of a redwing, quickly followed by a snow bunting, both taking turns resting on a wet wooden post in the steady rain. The audio captures the sharp, crisp sound of individual raindrops striking the microphone surface. Having passed the peaceful meadows of the west, we now reach the dramatic heights of the eastern cliffs. For a moment, I will step back, enjoy the music, and take in the pure power of nature. Looking at these unbelievable masses of birds, you might easily think of overpopulation, don't you think? But in reality, it is a perfectly balanced super ecosystem, where every single species has found its own unique niche. At the end of the round tour, we hiked through the island interior, with its 105-meter-high elevations directly to our accommodation. It was a completely different habitat. It was the perfect contrast to the coastal cliffs before returning to Sandvík. In the evening, we took a short detour from our accommodation located in the south of Sandvík, walking down to the coast and the lighthouse. It was a peaceful conclusion to our day on Grímsey. Near the lighthouse, we spotted eider ducks with their ducklings in the waves along the shore, and, in between, very active Phalaropes. A new day brought both familiar and new impressions. This time, Lasse stayed at the accommodation due to the aggressive Arctic terns. So I was alone, yet not alone, because the birds were still there, in their incredible numbers. And they were everywhere, in the air, in the water, and on land. On the flatter west coast, near Sandvík, the puffins clearly dominate. Even in front of the Fulmar pair, a puffin steps into the foreground. While hiking through the meadows, a golden plover sits on a grassy hill. I have now advanced quite far to the north. So, before heading to the northernmost tip and back south along the east coast, here are a few impressions in the form of still lifes. Puffins dancing in the wind. Kittiwakes filling the sky. The round stone monument, Orbis et Globus, serves as a striking marker of the Arctic Circle. And our journey continues to the northernmost tip, well north of the Arctic Circle. A view across the island toward the south, sweeping from west to east, with the northern mountains of Iceland visible in the far background. And here we are, at the northern cape of Grímsey. The east coast rises higher and the cliffs become steeper. Here, the auks have made their home once again. The puffins are true masters of the air, reaching speeds of up to 88 kilometers per hour. To stay airborne, they flap their wings frantically, up to 400 times a minute. And here are the hunting grounds of our auks. On the unusually calm water, ripples from schools of fish can be seen in the distance at several points. Here, in the cliffs rising up to 100 meters, the dense crowding of the bird colonies is particularly high. And then, a little surprise. Horses. Earlier we had spotted unusual hoof prints in the grass and dirt, wondering how they could have gotten here. Now, it is clear. After my excursion to the far north was over, and as the sun emerged from beneath the clouds in the afternoon, I headed out to the nearby basalt cliffs and the lighthouse at the southern tip of the island. The birds also enjoyed the calm and the sun. Here, an eider duck with her ducklings. The southern tip, and a black guillemot in the Greenland Sea. The fourth day brought sunshine and storm. It was time for our return trip to Dalvík. Beautiful impressions of the waves crashing against the coastal basalt columns, captured in slow motion. After the lighthouse, we take a quick detour to see the Guillemots and Razorbills before heading back to the guest house and catching the ferry from Grimsey. Just before we reach our guest house, two black guillemots are making themselves comfortable on a piece of driftwood. In front of the black guillemots on the rocks by the shore, we spot the snow bunting once again. At the ferry port, we had a little time left and walked to the nearby and only pond with its waders. Here, the red-necked Phalaropes were very active on the water. This time, not on the rocks, but by the pond shore. Another snow bunting, and then a meadow pipit. After our time at the pond, time flew by, and the small ferry comes into view, tossing on the waves. Unlike our journey here, we don't have a calm sea this time. Normally, I don't get seasick, and for a few minutes everything was fine. But then it hit me, and nothing worked until we finally reached calmer waters in the Dalvík fjord. More than 35 years ago, I experienced the exact same thing on a small ferry from Bodø to Roost in Norway, and since then I've been fine, until now. But that's life. There's always a trade-off. The ferry makes another short stop to unload fish on Grímsey. This allowed us to enjoy the fjord landscape even longer, especially since the seasickness had disappeared in the calmer waters of the fjord. The harbour of Grímsey and a view of the Bay of Dalvík. Now for a few final looks in pictures. I say goodbye and hope you enjoyed the video. If you give it a thumbs up and maybe leave a subscription, you support my small channel. I don't make money with this. It just brings me pure joy to share my impressions of nature with you.